Of all the skills you could spend time developing, strategic thinking is perhaps one of the most important. This is true whether you're looking to build your professional life or trying to adjust your life in general. Why strategic thinking? The answer lies in the very definition of the word itself. Strategic thinking starts with how we look at a situation. To think strategically, we assess the situation, ask out-of-the-box questions, and analyze our findings. From there, we can come up with a strategy that will take us where we want to go. This is the absolute beauty of strategic thinking. When we are fully engaged and intentional in our goals, we aren't just floundering around. Strategic thinking is about taking control of your life. It's where you gain clarity and direction. Once you start thinking strategically, things begin to happen. You find you're able to move more swiftly toward the things you dream about, and that your accomplishments are higher and better than you ever thought possible. With strategic thinking, we can find our focus. We stay rational and logical when making choices about what to do next. Then we figure out the next step and the one after that and move confidently toward the future. With so much benefit to strategic thinking, it's no wonder it's necessary for every compartment of our lives. This isn't just a concept to use at work but has application in everything from your relationships, financial decisions, and parenting. In this video, you're going to find out about the benefits of strategic thinking. Then, once you've got a good idea of what it is all about, you'll learn how to apply it to your own life. Strategic thinking is a game changer. Get ready to be amazed at how much learning this one simple thing is going to change your life. Before we continue, like and subscribe to our channel for part 2 and part 3 of strategic thinking in our next 2 videos. Does how you approach a problem really matter so much? At first glance, strategic thinking doesn't seem so different from any other problem-solving method. After all, doesn't the pursuit of a solution always follow pretty much the same order of steps? Surprisingly, it doesn't. While most people come into a problem in much the same way where they evaluate data and try a solution, strategic thinking does a couple of things differently. First, the goal is somewhat different, in that you're looking for the most efficient use of your time. Secondly, you're putting a focus on your own capabilities regarding the problem. In other words, you're looking only for solutions making the most of your strengths, instead of just looking for whichever solution you can find. Lastly, you're taking the time to evaluate your path before acting, to determine if you've discovered the most efficient way to achieve your solution. In short, you're inserting a lot of consideration and planning into the thinking process itself. To some, this seems a waste of time. After all, why spend all this time in analysis when you could already be halfway to the solution? This answer is simple once you stop to think about it. But clearly, the time invested now is what's going to save you considerable time later. Let's take a look at some of the other ways in which strategic thinking gives you better results. Make things simpler. Want to brush up on your analytical skills? Strategic thinking is how you break down your goals into something smaller and more manageable. You start by taking a hard look at where you are and an even harder look at where you're going. Once you have your endpoint figured out, the rest is just figuring out the milestones along the way. These milestones are nothing more than steps broken down and made less complex until you know precisely what you're supposed to be doing next. You can imagine it as reverse engineering a solution to a problem. Now you can focus on the next action step without the usual overwhelm of a complex goal or project. Ask better questions. How do you find those pieces of the puzzle? Strategic thinking demands answers to a whole series of questions. Instead of asking where you're going next, you first ask questions about where you want to go and why. Once you get those answers nailed down, you get into the nitty-gritty. What are the resources needed? Whose help do you need along the way? What kind of support system can you put in place? What do the various steps of each piece look like? What kind of cost or time investment is associated with each piece? The more questions you ask, the more questions you're going to discover that also need answers. It's this information that helps you make your plan as close to foolproof as possible, so time, energy, and resources aren't wasted later once the plan has been instituted. The best part is that eventually, you'll even find this process becomes automatic as you discover yourself digging deeper whenever confronted with an obstacle until you're thinking strategically all the time. Design a plan that fits. The problem most people have when it comes to a new challenge is applying the same old solution everyone else uses. This is where we get caught into a one-size-fits-all mentality without taking into consideration just how unique our goal is. When we factor in our own needs and our strengths and abilities, we see that what passes as the typical solution might not fit at all. You may even realize the standard go-to solution needs to be revised. Thankfully, strategic thinking takes all this into consideration. By working with the resources you have and the skills you possess, strategic thinking helps you put together a plan based on the best solution for you, one that will drive you toward the best possible result for your situation. Keep your focus where it needs to be. When using strategic thinking, it's easier to stay focused because you've thought through the possible obstacles and have a plan in place when they occur. This awareness of the future and the knowledge you have all eventualities covered gives you the necessary clarity and concentration to reach your goal. The day-to-day becomes less daunting and frustrating. Challenges hold less distraction. You find it easier to keep going, even if you run into a bump in the road you hadn't anticipated. Make fewer mistakes. While there's nothing wrong with making mistakes, they can be time-consuming and costly. By making a strategic plan, you'll have a much better idea of what's coming and already have a contingency plan for if things go wrong. With so much preparation, you'll make fewer mistakes and less frustration than you would otherwise. Get you there faster. You will always get to a destination faster if you have a reliable direction. Strategic thinking is just the roadmap to get you there. By laying everything out in easy-to-understand steps, you really do just fly through the various stages and reach completion much faster than if you'd been winging it instead. Build better analytical skills. When you try thinking strategically to solve a specific problem, you're going to discover the same process works whether you're dealing with an issue at work or home with the kids. Your brain will start to slip into these patterns automatically, shifting you immediately into a more analytical mode than an emotional one, which is where most of us default. Set you up for success. The person with the strategic plan is automatically thought of as the leader. Strategic thinking then sets you up as the one everyone looks to for the answers. You're the guide, the guru, the person with all the answers. People around you can't help but respond to this kind of planning. If you use strategic thinking in a business setting, this is a sure way to be noticed by those above you. In a personal sense, you'll find you gain more respect from those close to you and are seen as more competent, which translates into being someone worth knowing. In the end, strategic thinking is the key to success, no matter what area of your life you apply it. You'll notice that through consistent practice of this methodology, you will become better at problem solving, feel more creative, have improved thinking skills, and enjoy better results than those around you. You will have a stronger focus and a better sense of who you are and where you're going. More importantly, you'll know how you're getting there. Impressed? Just wait until you see strategic thinking in action. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to follow up on our next video, part 2 of 3. Strategic Thinking Examples in Action. See you in the next video of this 3-part series.